J.D. Durkin, live at the White House, covering the business of government for us. J.D., you there, man?
I am here. Good morning, John. Good morning, Kristen. What's going on?
Okay, before I get to the questions of the day, all right, you're there. All guys, give JD the full screen right now. All around you are reporters that are getting set up. Are people scuttlebutting on these tweets right now? What's going on?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of conversations about these tweets. The ones that you were just talking about with Chuck Ross specifically, I think the one that's getting a lot of attention, not only the one that Kristen cited there a short time ago, John, the idea of Jim Comey better hope that nothing was tapped, but really this one where suddenly the president out of nowhere today taking to his Twitter account to basically say, hey, maybe we consider effectively shutting down these press briefings. I'll quote him directly. He said, quote, maybe the best thing to do would be to cancel all future press briefings. He put the words press briefings in quotations for some reasons, and hand out written responses for the sake of accuracy. That's a pretty stunning suggestion. I do expect it. I think we are going to hear actually from regular press secretary Sean Spicer coming up at 1:30 today instead of Sarah Huckabee Sanders. I have to imagine, John, the press secretary is going to get bombarded with questions about the legitimacy of even floating the idea of canceling these and basically just handing out written memorandums to members of the press.
And just to give you a little inside baseball, everybody, where JD is standing is all of the reporters that are at the White House do these stand-ups, and that is called Pebble Beach, where he is. Then they all go into the briefing room, and there's various offices there, and they wait for the briefing. So basically, in a way, the president has put on Twitter that maybe he'll just get rid of everybody's jobs who are at the White House. So not only is there an element of this where it's like there won't be press briefings, now all these people are wondering, like, is there going to be a briefing today? Is there going to be a briefing tomorrow? There's a whole complex around what goes on over there.
I doubt, JD, what's your take on that? I don't think that would serve the government any good, but please give us your take.
No. And really, I think that's honestly one of the most ridiculous, unrealistic ideas. I mean, look, essentially the right to not only petition your government for a redress of grievances, but a lot of the other things that are outlined by the First Amendment are largely what bring journalists here in our democracy to challenge, hold truth to power, and bring accountability to any presidential administration, be they Republican, Democrat, or otherwise. There's a long history of the James S. Brady press briefing room. It's a very proud group of journalists here at the White House Press Corps. You know, a few months ago, I had the opportunity to visit a great museum here in D.C., John and Kristen, called the Newseum. Basically honors the work that journalists do, not only here in the United States, but really around the world. I expect to see the administration really have to backtrack and answer for this suggestion from the president. But look, I mean, this is no surprise, John and Kristen. This is the chosen social media platform that President Trump, then candidate Trump, for a very long time has chosen to use. He now touts 29.1 million Twitter followers, and on the other side of things, he only follows 45 accounts or so. So he has a very specific, very strange rituals when it comes to tweeting. But certainly, as we've seen, one tweet, one suggestion from this president to his Twitter account certainly has the potential to cause reverberations around the global community.
All right, let's talk about the story that we plan to talk about. Let's talk about this Jack Dorsey tweet yesterday, and basically the CEO of Twitter saying that it's good the president's on Twitter. Give us the scoop on that.
Yeah, well, look, this is an interview that Jack Dorsey did with Willie Geist and NBC. It's set to, air this coming weekend, I believe, tomorrow. But, you know, Jack Dorsey in the past, the founder of Twitter, John and Kristen, he's given mixed responses when pressed with the fact, given his views on the @RealDonald Trump account. Back in December, he was asked about it. He kind of gave mixed feelings. Early this week, when sitting down with Willie Geist, he said, look, I think this is a good thing. I think it gives people the opportunity to make the president more accountable. I'll quote Mr. Dorsey directly. He said, quote, I believe it's really important to hear from our leadership, and I believe it's really important to hold them accountable. He continued by saying, so if we're all to suddenly take these platforms away, meaning these social media platforms from President Trump, where does it go? What happens? It goes in the dark, and I just don't think that's good for anyone. Certainly, we know the argument on the other side, John and Kristen, the critics who have long said, hey, for the sake of global stability around the world, maybe the president shouldn't tweet. You even have just people in the general public who say, hey, pretty frequently the president misspells things on his Twitter account. Maybe there should at least be a team of editors who proofreads, but there certainly doesn't seem to be anything like that.
JD, one tweet from the president just came out within the past 3 minutes, and this is a good business one. Dig in on this for us today before you go to the briefing. China just agreed that the U.S. will be allowed to sell beef and other major products into China once again. This is real news. So dig into that and ask a question about that at the briefing today, okay?
Yeah, I certainly will. I'll look into it over the course of the next few hours.
Kristen, you had something?
The thing that I was going to highlight back to the Jack Dorsey comment is that we know based on this latest earnings report that we got not too long ago, right, 9 million new users added in the quarter, and Donald Trump's account, 8.9 million new followers. Not necessarily new users to Twitter, but a very interesting, very almost on par in terms of new users coming to the platform and then new ones engaging with Donald Trump's specific account. So obviously it seems as if one could deduce that Donald Trump's activity might be a boon to Twitter here. JD, thank you.
Thank you, JD.
Thanks for watching Cheddar on YouTube. If you want to see more of our videos, click on one of these over here and be sure to subscribe to our channel right down here.